When we're talking about making money from pubs, from bars, I think you are very much in these kind of realms of drinks, highballs. About a month ago, I made my own rum. So today, it's about time we tasted it, see what it's like in some cocktails. And this definitely does what it says on the tin. This is peachy, this is apricot, all with that underlying tone of what Goldstone Rum is all about. Punchy, full-bodied, little bit of peppery spice to it because of the ABV, a little bit of that heat, but that peach, that apricot is there. I love this. Now, before I go any further, I'll probably better explain exactly what this is and how this came about. Some of you will know, but to a lot of you, you probably won't. So this is courtesy of my good friends, John and Gina, that own Goldstone Rum. Just outside, I say Brighton, it's just outside of Brighton, they say Sussex, okay? Cracking little distillery, scratch rum distillery. They use molasses and they use sugar cane juice. They kind of ferment and distill, and they are growing every single day. They're doing some phenomenal stuff, and they are great, great people. Now, of course, this particular bottle, probably, I don't know how this is, to be fair. I don't know whether we would still actually call this British scratch rum, or whether it's actually more redistilled rum. I'll leave that one down to the professionals, but at the base of this is British scratch rum. But unlike the vast majority of flavoured and spiced rums here in the UK, this hasn't got any flavourings at all. This is real life peaches and real life apricots that have gone into this. Now, as I say, this is courtesy of my good friends, John and Gina, that own Goldstone Rum. And what they have down there, just outside of Brighton, is two brilliant experiences that you all can get involved in if you're down that way, and I would highly recommend you doing it. The first one is their little tour nights. You know, you get a little guided tour of the distillery, how John makes his rum, what he does, what he blends, and you get to have a little taste. Of course you do, you get involved in all that sort of stuff, and it's a brilliant kind of factual, eye-opening kind of experience. You know, for a rum lover or someone even local, you know, it's a great experience for you to get involved in. However, another one of their little experiences is the chance to distill your own rum. And what happens with that, John has got upstairs in his little rum school, he's got loads of different, what I would call botanicals, but spices, you know, fruits, dried fruits and all that sort of stuff. And what they do is loads of little alembic stills, I think maybe 16, don't hold me to that, I forget how many alembic stills in there, I think it's 16. But basically what you get is you get some of the Goldstone rum is put into an alembic still, and then you get to choose all your different sort of spices, all your different herbs, all your different fruits, and you kind of can then make your own rum from that. You weigh it out, get a little bit of guidance from the guys down there, and then you can put it in the alembic stills and then distill, and then you collect kind of like your rum. Now, of course, me being me, I wasn't happy with the dried fruits that are in the distillery. So John whipped me down to the local fruit and veg supplier. And I love, you know, nectarines were my big thing, and that's what I was looking for. But the fruit and veg lady didn't have any nectarines. But what she did have, I forget what they're called now, red velvet apricots. That's what they're called. I didn't fit on the label, but red velvet apricots and flat peaches, and they were proper ripe, proper juicy. So I just bought a big bag of each of those, kind of sliced and diced them up. Then we added a bit of citrus, whacked that on the alembic. It came out, if you've seen the Instagram reel, it came out I think it came out sort of mid-high 60s% ABV, something like that, 70s, 60s% ABV. And then we just kind of watered it down as you would do a normal rum. And I chose to sort of bring it back down to 45% ABV. And this is the final product. Now, if I'm talking about John and Gina, I better quickly run you through the rums that they do have available. They've got 6 permanently available rums. I've got 5 of them behind here. The one I haven't got is their amber rum, which John openly admits he doesn't age rum yet. He's not in that sort of ballpark. So it is a little bit of sort of, I forget what he actually used in that, sort of wood chips, I think, to kind of colour that. I forget, but there we are. I haven't got it, so we're not going to talk about that. But what we've got is their white rum off the still. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the Sussex Overproof, which again is that at a higher ABV. Don't forget these are molasses and sugar cane juice rums. And then we get into kind of my favourites and things like that. So at the back there, we've got the spiced rum, which again is proper real life spices macerated into the white rum. We've got the ginger and lime, which is fresh ginger, been sort of peeled and popped into the still, and fresh lime peels as well that have been peeled. I think it's like 160 odd limes that have been peeled, something like that. And then the peel is whacked into the great big still, and that's distilled. So we get the ginger and lime, very similar process to what that is. But then possibly my favorite one is the dark rum, which is the white rum, but then rapidly aged with 4 different types of wood chips to give it that dark rum. So it's a flavoured, spiced, flavoured, I don't know how you want to call it. Basically, there's no caramel colouring or anything like that gone into it. That is from wood chips, and one of those wood chips is like a cherry oak wood barrel. So not sherry, cherry. So 4 different types of oak chips make up that dark rum. Now, I get asked all the time on Instagram DMs, it's like, you know, what can I buy my boyfriend for his birthday? He likes rum. What can we do? You know, what can I get as a birthday present or a Christmas present? All that sort of stuff. There's various other distilleries, like if you're up sort of Nottingham, North Nottingham, south of Sheffield, I say go and drop into Dropworks if you can. But if you're down south, definitely pop into Sussex. What Sussex have got going on with their brandies and the wine and the rum, it's a phenomenal little area, so I love it down there. So if you want an experience, if you want a little treat for a loved one, definitely hook yourselves up with Goldstone, whether it's a distillery tour or whether it's making your own rum. Now, drinks wise, how could you actually use it? If you were going to go down there and make and distill your own rum of this kind of realm, if you didn't go down the whole spiced rum route, if you went down the sort of fruity route, how could you kind of use it? So I've been like micro-playing with this for the last couple of weeks or so. I kind of wanted to leave it to mellow out a little bit, so it wasn't like hot off the still, if you're not hot temperature, but a little bit sort of spicy off the still. So it's kind of mellowed down. I've been playing with. My favourite way is actually not a daiquiri. It's kind of like a tea punch kind of thing. I've actually just used, I haven't got any limes here until delivery tomorrow, so I've actually just used a little bit of lime juice just to kind of pop in there for a second. But a tea punch is just literally a cheek of lime, so a bit of lime peel, pith, popped in there with a tiny bit of sugar. Tea punch with that is fantastic, and that is by far and away my favourite way to drink this rum. This is delicious. I think that just that little hint of sugar, but a little bit of citrus really does allow those sort of fruits to really come through there. Now, bearing in mind, if you were going to distill your own rum, dried fruit would actually give you a more of a bump in flavour than what fresh fruit would. And so remember, I've used fresh fruit to distill that. However, this sugar and this amount of lime really does bring that apricot and bring those peaches out. This is delicious. I really do think that I would polish this bottle of rum off drinking it like that as a tea punch. But you know, don't discount the daiquiri. I flipping love my daiquiris, and that is a gorgeous, gorgeous daiquiri. It's and I'll be open. I'm open with John. You know, that's not my favourite daiquiri rum. I do prefer lighter rums. When it comes to white rums, I do prefer stuff like the Chairman's Reserve. I do prefer the Ron Cube, those lighter column still rums. It's a bit heavier for me. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad rum by any stretch of the imagination. When it comes to daiquiris, I do prefer those styles of rum. So for me, the actual rum in this is not my ideal daiquiri rum, but this is still a delicious drink. You got to remember, I'm in the minority when it comes to daiquiris. I know so many people that would do Bajan rums, so many people that would do kind of aged rums, Jamaican rums in daiquiris, and that's not my scene. So this is me in the minority as opposed to most of you in the majority. For most of you, that is going to be an absolutely banging daiquiri rum. But this daiquiri, you know, it is superb. It really is superb. And then just for a quick highball, and again, it's not my ginger ale. It's not my favourite ginger ale, but I've just used Fever Tree ginger ale. I'm much more of a Franklin's and Sons ginger ale person. I love and adore their ginger ale. Even Schweppes Canada Dry ginger ale, I much prefer over Fever Tree. So this for me is not rocking my boat at the moment, but I have tried it with the Franklin's and Sons ginger ale. I haven't got any left. I need to order another case. But as a ginger, you know, ginger for me is probably one of my favourite highball ways of serving most rums, to be fair. Now, of course, this is me, so I have got a couple of other ways for you to coming up, and the cocktail that's coming up in a second, I want you to pay attention to, because it's a great way of serving this and similar style of drinks. So this is what I would call like a tropical highball. I've just this smaller glass, so I'm just going to use like a 25ml there. But this is one of my favourite soda waters. The guava and lime is just absolutely gorgeous. There's a third ingredient in there, if I remember rightly. Can never remember what it is. They rebranded these. Tahitian lime, ginger, there we go. Hint of ginger with sparkling with guava in there. This is just truly fantastic. You know, that guava Really does play lovely with that rum. That subtle hint of fruit that comes out in that rum, but with that guava and lime soda, it's not a sweet soda at all. Some people might even add like 5-10 ml of sugar syrup to that because they're really not that sweet. But for me, I flipping love these. Now the final riff I want to show you is kind of a fun, playful little twist on the woo-woo. Now we'll be actually dissecting the woo-woo and doing this slightly differently in a future video. But for now, I just want to kind of give you like a fun, quick riff. Basically, a woo-woo is just like sort of traditionally vodka, peach liqueur, traditionally Archers, and cranberry juice. Now, you know, I've kind of reinvented this twice, really simply. And, you know, the cocktail's just taken off when I've served it. It's done really, really well. So kind of going down a different route here. So small glass, I've just done literally about 35 ml of the rum there. I'm just going to bump this with 10 ml of the peach liqueur. Okay, from Monin. I kind of like this, but I much prefer peach liqueurs, creme de pêche, over Archers if you're in the UK. Have a look at these because these are so much better when it comes to working in cocktails. Now to that, I'm just going to add a little bit of pomegranate syrup, which I use as grenadine as well. I'm just going to kind of do about 7.5 ml of pomegranate syrup. Then to that, I'm going to add 7.5 ml of hibiscus syrup. And this is just for the size of the glass. You got to look at this glass. This is a small glass. It's about 12, I think it's just under 13 ounces, like 12.75. So I'm just dumbing the ratios down just very, very slightly. Now I'm just going to give that a very quick stir just to combine those ingredients. So we've got kind of like a concentrate or a cordial or whatever you want to call it at the bottom. And then because I've got that hibiscus flavour, because I've got that pomegranate flavour, I'm just going with soda water there. And the sweetness will kind of make the soda water taste a little bit sweeter if you like. But just top that up. Another quick stir just to combine those ingredients together. And just going to garnish that up with a lime wedge there, or like thrown a lime wheel, dried lime wheel. And that is, it's not a woo-woo. As I say, I'm going to attack that in another video. I've got some great ways if you're running pubs and bars to do that. But this hopefully would have just shown you various inspirations of how you can serve up some of these rums like this on your cocktail menus. You know, I dare say this is like home consumption, like tea punch. I think if you put that on a cocktail menu, you're not going to sell that much. Even a daiquiri to a certain extent, many people don't understand what it is. They're still going to expect a bright red frozen kind of drink, if you like. I flipping love daiquiris. But I think when we're talking about making money from pubs, from bars, I think you are very much in these kind of realms of drinks, highballs, simple highballs. The ginger ale, the tropical soda, so guava, lime with that little hint of ginger, and then this. It's not a woo-woo. It's like a pomegranate hibiscus kind of soda that goes so well with this rum. Oh, wow. That is wow. That is a guzzler. That is flipping delicious. Do you know what? I've just had a little thought of what I'm going to do to that. When I do hibiscus syrups, like traditionally I might add a little bit of spice to hibiscus. So it's kind of like a hibiscus spiced kind of drink. What I'm actually going to do is these tiki bitters from Stillabunt. So these are more sort of Falernum vibe, if you like. I'm just going to add 6 drops of those. 2, 6. Give that a little stir in. Oh, now we've got layers going on. That is delicious. 2 syrups, the rum, a little bit of peach liqueur, topped up with plain soda water. That is a banger. So there you go. I know no one in the country is going to have that rum. You know, it's going to, not even going to replicate it because I distilled it with my ratios and my recipes. You know, you're not even going to come close. But, you know, this would translate, definitely translate to the ginger and lime rum. It would definitely translate to white unaged rums as well. If you want to have a little play, just different ways to serve them up. Ginger ale, the guava soda with this. This is flipping delicious. So definitely go and check John and Gina out. Thank you, John, both of you actually, for letting me distill this and for letting me have a play there. Thank you for the friendship. This isn't a paid promotion video by any stretch of the imagination. They're just fun people. I wanted to showcase what you could do with a rum like this. I think I've done well. Cheers.